I am the genie of the lamp.
I wish I was watching Aladdin.
Okay. There are a lot of Aladdin movies out there. Some of them are good. Most of them aren't. Sometimes you got evil trees. Sometimes you got the Mucinex Man. Sometimes you got Italians. But the one thing they all have in common is that they're about Aladdin, right? It's not true. That's not really true. Aladdin and the Magic Lamp comes from 1970s France, and it's about as 1970s as you can get.
Now take the lamp.
This one's got two birds. Two awful, annoying birds that just don't stop. It's also got evil trees.
Take a handful of these diamonds. They're all for you.
That's a cop. That's an undercover cop.
Come nearer.
As far as I can tell, this one sticks pretty close to the original lore, but if you've ever read old folklore, you know the problem with that.
If you take them, you will be changed into a tree for the rest of your life.
There's a lot of stuff that just sort of happens.
Ow!
Not because it serves the story, but because someone in the last 1,000 years decided they wanted to include it. Like, he uses the genie to escape the cave, and then uses it to give him a bunch of food, and then fully forgets the genie exists at all.
Forgetting the marvelous powers of the lamp, Aladdin and his mother were again worried about the future.
So then he ends up selling the plates. Nope, not even gonna touch that.
Up there, he couldn't trouble us anymore.
It also comes with that really crunchy 70s sound quality, which makes the stupid music even worse.
With my shiny piece of gold, I'll buy slippers for my feet.
And Genie has lobster hands. All in all, this one's about as dry as possible. On the other hand,
A backward somersault.
originally titled Super Fantagenio, this one's an Italian movie from 1986 that couldn't give less of a shit about being an Aladdin movie.
Gee.
First, it takes place in Miami, and the main character's name is Aladdin.
Aladdin.
Second, nothing in this movie makes sense ever at all for any reason.
Hi. But
I'm gonna try to explain what happens, and you just have to trust that this is all from one movie and not a bunch of different dreams that I've had.
this place is a garbage.
So, the first thing Al does with his new power is beat up a bunch of guys at the beach. And the second thing he does is make this girl kiss him.
Well, don't I just have a kiss?
Don't be ridiculous.
I want a kiss.
That's the kind of hero we're dealing with. Al shows up to the high school basketball game and just asks to play.
Hayden, you've never played basketball in your life. I know, but all I have to do is just put the ball in the basket, right?
And then he single-handedly drops 60 points in 5 minutes. Sorry, other team, looks like you chose the wrong day to not have a genie. Then he gets kidnapped by human traffickers.
Get off me! Help me! Help!
I can't stress enough how out of the blue this whole thing is.
Gorgeous. Dark blonde hair, blue eyes, 15 years old.
They don't pick him up because of the genie or anything. He's the victim of a random crime. Then he goes water skiing.
Looking good!
Which, again, he just decides he wants to be the best at for no reason. It doesn't serve the plot. Why not? He's got the genie. Why not humiliate this other guy who's been practicing his entire life?
I mean, you don't even know how to swim.
And actually, he almost fails this one because the genie is busy hitting on a married woman.
I don't think he'd mind if you'd offer me a drink at the bar.
Very cool hat. You could probably guess what happens next, but Genie gets a DUI and lands in the hospital, and the chief of police wants to operate on him, but decides he'll spare his life in exchange for all of the armies in the world. And then Genie says no, and then they fly off into the sunset. So that's that movie. Next up is Son of Aladdin, and this one hurts. I'm not exaggerating when I say that this movie was exhausting to watch. From the very first scene, you're under attack. Look at this. What is this? Why is this happening?
secret.
There's just constant movement, and your eyes are never given a second to focus. You know that feeling when you're in a dark room and someone turns the light on? Imagine that feeling for 80 minutes. And not just the visuals, the whole thing is so loud. As if the music and the sound effects weren't bad enough, there's often overlapping dialogue.
You're coming.
Steady, steady.
And everyone just has the worst voices possible.
But how? But how?
Have no fear, my king. I rode for reinforcements.
This one's even got its own annoying bird. Look at this guy. This guy's a Persian pirate. Imagine in your head what a Persian pirate sounds like.
No, dear. You should know better than to plead between us.
Yep, he's Scottish. Because why wouldn't he be Scottish?
That's not a nice way to talk about the ship's captain, Abby, dear.
Really cool fact about this one is that it was made in 2003, and in 2016 they tried to get it nominated for an Oscar. Yeah, it didn't win. I don't know who this is for or why anyone would watch it, but damn if this pirate song isn't a banger. Here we have Aladdin and the Death Lamp, and it answers a question we've all wondered. What if genies were that monsters from the Spooky Island? Thousands of years ago, long before recorded history began, magic and sorcery ruled over science and logic. Yeah, good thing now we live in a world where people listen to scientists, huh? See, the plot here is that jinns are evil and they eat souls, so they were sealed away in a magic lamp, but then we got unsealed, so now we gotta re-seal them. In typical sci-fi original fashion, this movie mixes some of the worst effects you've ever seen with some of the worst dialogue you've ever heard.
When I get home, I wish to find a woman who never speaks and makes love like an animal. Spend the rest of my days in her bed.
Unfortunately, everyone in this movie is about as dumb as possible. Like the guy who takes a nap in an obviously haunted field, or the guy who takes a nap in an obviously haunted cave, or the guy who takes a nap in an obviously haunted forest. You know you've got a good movie on your hands when the leading cause of death is naps. I especially like this part where wherever they film, they didn't really make any effort to cover up the park signs. There's also this guy who, after waking up from a nap, wishes to be showered in gold. So while maybe not as directly egregious as some of the other movies, it sure makes you wonder why it exists. Just kidding, it exists for this epic sword fight.
Here comes that page. She's such a...
This one's weird. And I know weird doesn't mean a lot anymore, but it's weird in a different way.
Oh no!
Ignoring the awful title, Aladdin and the Adventure of All Time is like really close to being a good movie. First of all, we've got Jim Cummings, the guy who voices Winnie the Pooh.
Yes, dear.
As well as the voice actors for both Buttercup and Blossom.
Has anybody seen my glass slipper? I'm just glad you're okay.
It's also decently funny and charming, and has some genuinely well-written music.
Come and spend the day with me!
I guess the biggest problem with this one is that they only remembered to animate like 25% of the frames.
Am I going to explain this to the court?
Seriously, this whole thing looks so janky, and it came out in 2000. That's the same year as Help, I'm a Fish. I know that's a wild benchmark to use, but the point is, there's no excuse for it to look like a Zelda CDI game.
Dinner.
Dinner.
Dinner. Yes.
And also, when I say the music is well written, there might be a reason for that.
Read me first. Check me out. I'm the best fairy tale, there's no doubt.
Yeah, I guess that one's kind of a direct ripoff of Be Our Guest, huh?
So pick me up off the shelf and read me first.
But it did really make me laugh. Although my sense of humor is kind of awful.
Humpty Dumpty.
So maybe it wasn't so much good as it was marginally better than the others, but at this point I'll take what I can get.
Everybody is insecure about something.
So those were the 5 I wanted to talk about, but there were several other Aladdin movies I ended up watching for this video. We had black and white Aladdin, we had Popeye Aladdin, we had Soviet Aladdin, we even had anime Aladdin. And I think it says something about the durability of this story that 1,000 years later, people all over the world are still adding their new spin to it. And hey, maybe that's the real magic. But for my money, there's only one true Aladdin movie,
Hey, hey, Mustafa, Prince out at sea.
Alright, Genie, for my next 2 wishes, I wish people would like and subscribe. Huh? Was that a clever way to do that? No?